I'm Tim Gardner with the VP of Sales US at Vecoplan, and we are looking at the VPC1600. This is the pallet crusher. Basically, it's two different machines. In one, you have a dual shaft shredder that breaks up the pallet and resizes it to the re-shredder. This is the VHZ1600, which then makes more of a consistent cut and brings it down to a chip level that can either be reused or used for fuel or waste. But then it would, obviously from here it would take it on a discharge conveyor, and it would also have an in-feed conveyor as well to remove metal detection.
And this is a substantial machine. How big a pallet? How much stuff can we do?
Well, typically you're looking at the 48 by 40 standard pallet. The capacity is up to, I believe, 120 tons per day. So you're looking at a very, very large capacity of.
And what does the VPC stand for?
It's the Vecoplan pallet crusher. Yes.
Appropriate name.
Yes.
Appropriate name. Yes. Okay. So, and this is brand new?
Yeah, this is our newest model. We're combining it together. You're seeing a lot in retail spaces. There's so many companies that are just using and going through pallets that can no longer be used, and they have to dispose of them. They're sitting out. Think of a distribution center where you're basically putting that wood waste into a trailer. It starts to stack up to 10 trailers a week, and then you're paying someone to pick up that waste and dispose of it. What a lot of the distribution centers in the U.S. have started to realize is that they can resize their material, send it through pneumatic discharge, and instead of having 10 trailers a week, where they're paying X amount of dollars, they can have one trailer a month, and save some pretty quick return on investment.
That's amazing.
Pretty quick return on investment. So,
okay.
Hi, I'm Tim Gardner with Vecoplan, and we're going over our standard VHZ wood shredders today. This is the 1100 and the 800, and they're both pretty similar machines. It's just about the 1100 is for a different size wood. And basically how this machine works, you have a rotor and shredder and a ram, and you put the material in, and the ram is pushing the material against the rotor as it grinds and creates a consistent wood chip and resizes that material for the next use. And it's a pretty bulletproof machine. You're going to have cutters that you can use 4 different times. So you typically move the cutters as they get dull once a quarter. So you'd look at replacing these cutters once a year. Other wear and tear parts that you may need to look at are there's wipers underneath the ram, and also the guidelines here, the guide rails here sometimes need to be replaced as well. But it's a pretty low maintenance machine, bulletproof machine that you're going to get a lot of great use out of for a good long time.
These cutters look like they could do some damage. They can really take down.
Yes.
And is it solely for pallets, or can you put any wood waste?
No, this is not even solely for pallets. I think this is more of a secondary wood application where you might see a cabinetry shop. We've got some big name players that use this in the secondary wood market, but also smaller mom and pop shops as well.
It has a nice footprint. You could put this in a lot of places in your shop.
Yes, no, of course. It's the 800 is if you're limited in space, maybe a better use, but it's really depends on the size of the material that you're putting in. If you have some waste boards that maybe a little bit wider or a little bit longer, the 1100 would be the way to go. But we do have 2 different options, and even get wider if needed.
So what machine are we looking at here?
Okay, this is the VTH 450 and the VTH 250. These are both drum chippers. and they both work the same way. The VTH 250 is just for a smaller application. The VTH 450 is for a larger application, and the way we define that is by the space that we have from the in-feed rollers. You can see this one has 3 in-feed rollers as it drives the log in to be shredded. And what's nice about this machine is you can see the pneumatic control here that can control the size depending on how big the log or whatever waste wood that you're putting into the chipper. As it moves along, you see here are the belts for the grinders. Here is the belt drive here.
Oh,
and if you see what we've added here, this on the 450 in comparison to the 250 is this option to lift up the hood. It creates better maintenance. It also closes it for good sound control. And if you come over here, you can see as the material is coming through the rollers, there's a drum chipper with 4 different blades that is moving, spinning this way as the rollers are bringing the log through to create a really consistent chip. You can see right here the screeners. Depending on what screen size you put in, you can get a 2 or 3 inch minus output or whatever is needed. Another good feature about this machine here is the touch screen, where you're able to open up the hood for maintenance and run it consistently to get that nice output.
and why is consistency so important? Consistency of chip, excuse me.
Consistency of chips is really important because a lot of times it's being used for different materials that really need to be uniform. I mean, if you're looking for a pellet, if you're looking for using it for recycled material, you're going to want a consistent chip to create a better product in the end.